Fort Smith is one of few cities in the country that still has one of these. An original, not a reproduction, an original streetcar from the early 1900s, in which folks can step up on and go back in time.
Birney safety car that we're riding on today, and Mr. Birney started building those in 1918, and he built around 3,000 of them until 1930. This car is one of the original cars running daily. There's one in New Orleans that's still running also daily.
The Birney safety car was called that because it was designed to stop and open the door in an emergency if the operator could not apply downward pressure on the control handle. A streetcar ride from the early 1900s was anything but smooth or quiet. But then, that's the whole experience of it all.
I enjoy it a lot, which is why I do it. But I was interested in it because I can remember when they actually ran in Fort Smith, because I was 11 or 12 years old, you know, when they quit. But actually, I get a big kick out of the people that enjoy it. Some of them enjoy it so much, particularly that they even want to do some of the things, like they'll change the trolley poles, even occasionally change the track switch. You know, I even open up and show them that 25 horsepower motor, because it's, you know, probably 6 or 8 times as big as the current one would be. They like doing everything that they can do. I let them do if they will do it and if they want to.
Oh, I got it.
An average 1,000 people a month come to Fort Smith to experience this unique ride from the past.
From all over the world, down under, Australia, Europe, you name it. They come to ride the trolley. Japan, China. We just have all kinds of enjoyable people. And it's such a thrill also to hold our local school children. They set up times to come, and they always get a thrill out of riding the trolley. And I always tell them, sit down and hold on, because it's not like your mother's SUV. So this is the way it was in 1926 when this trolley was built. So it's such an enjoyable thing for me.
What are your thoughts about, you know, you consider in this day and age, we have gas-guzzling buses, fuel emissions. That wasn't such a bad invention back then.
No, it really wasn't. It was a great invention, and I think some cities are bringing back a little more of it. And it, in time, could be our next transportation, I would say, in the cities, the way more people are moving downtown. So it's something that the younger generation may get to see happen. So, but they sure enjoy riding it. So yeah. I do like the idea of no emissions, though. We come along with our diesel buses that replace this, the rubber tire buses. In about 1938, that's when that happened, and so the trolley got less used at the time. Some cities, they're still running and never stop.
Inside the Fort Smith Trolley Museum is an open-air car that was built in Mexico in 1907. There's also a restored streetcar from Hot Springs, originally built in 1904. We got a shot of the before, and now we see the after. That's, my goodness, that's quite a transformation.
It really is. The car was bought in 1904 in Hot Springs, the year they opened up Oaklawn Racetrack, so that the Hot Springs Street Railway could take people to the races, which was out in the country at that time. And it was used up until 1938. After it went out of service, it went over to Glenwood and was kind of a storage building by a barn. And then a fella in Bonnerdale bought it, and we wound up buying it back from him in a greatly deteriorated situation. But anyway, it was built in St. Louis by the St. Louis Car Company.
So what exactly was the restoration, basically, I mean, to get it to this, you know, like brand new shape?
Well, about 10 years of serious work, and we've actually worked on it longer than that, but the seriousness went for about 10 years. We had, the interior is almost 100% original except for the ceiling and the floor. As far as exposed wood goes, there were 3 car bodies that we were able to get parts out of, so we were able to get a complete set of trim for the interior of the car. A lot of the brass hardware and stuff we had to reproduce from ones that we had, but we were real fortunate that in the early 80s we were able to get a collection of streetcar parts out of the basement of a house in St. Louis, and it happened to be a St. Louis Car Company Waterworks 12, which was the same, had the same hardware this one did, even the seats. We had a few from Hot Springs, and we had a few, then we had a full set from there. The seats that we got in St. Louis, when you set them on the floor, you could see through the holes in the floor where it had been bolted down, so it was the same. We did have to reproduce the original cushions that went in it because the original ones, well, we didn't have them in the St. Louis ones. The seats were a little bit longer, so we just had to modify that.
And I understand the only other car like that is in the Smithsonian.
Well, the Smithsonian has, there's other museums that have all wood bodied cars, but there are no other Arkansas cars that have been restored. And the Smithsonian has one very similar to that. It's, as far as looks on the outside, but it's a single truck car, and we actually used pictures and measurements off of that car to make the little brass hardware that goes on the step.
So you actually had to go to the Smithsonian to get measurements to work to make this happen. Right,
and then we made a mahogany pattern for the flat part that goes out and hooks onto the roof, and then the round part we had turned on a CNC lathe, and then we silver soldered them together and polished them. But they're just like the original ones.
The neat thing about all of this is that it's not just a streetcar ride. The motormen also provide quite an interesting history lesson.
Yes, we do. We'll make a few stops along the route, and from one end to the other, we run, we have the Bass Reeves monument at the end of our Garrison Avenue at the bridge, and he's up front of the park there, and he
the first African-American U.S. Marshal.
That is correct, and it's quite a history behind him. And what's so amazing to me about Bass Reeves is that the fact that he lived to be 71 years of age and died of natural causes. To be a lawman in the bringing in the undesirables of in the Indian Territory, it just amazes me that took place. But we also then come along and show them the gallows, Judge Isaac Parker's courtroom. We have a good view from our car, and we make a stop at our Trolley Museum. We have a mural there telling the history of the streetcar in Fort Smith. And it started out in 1883 and was first drawn by mules because of no electricity. And then by 1895 we had electricity and we had the electric cars come along too. So we was able to progress on that. And also we travel on up to the entrance of the U.S. National Cemetery. And it's absolutely a beautiful sight. And I'd recommend if you're ever in this area or you want to make a day trip, I would do it. It's worth your time.
And that it is. During a previous episode, we took you through the Arkansas Air and Military Museum here at Drake Field in Fayetteville. Well, today we just had to come back out and tell you all about the arrival of Fifi, a World War II B-29 super fortress. Piloting Fifi into Fayetteville's Drake Field was local resident and airshow pilot extraordinaire Matt Yonkin.
I still fly air shows for a living, and I see airplanes like this at a lot of the shows that I go to, but I've always had a warm spot for World War II aviation and anything to do with the theater in general. And I've met and befriended a lot of the people that actually keep these airplanes going. They volunteer. It's an all-volunteer organization, and they invited me to be a part of the flight crew, and it's a privilege I can't put into words.
Fifi's existence was almost obliterated back in the 70s at a Navy proving ground in California, where she was being used as a missile target. Luckily, coming to her rescue was one of the largest private air forces in the world, the Commemorative Air Force, or the Ghost Squadron, which collects, restores, and flies vintage historical aircraft, bringing the sights, smells, and sounds of the past to audiences across the country.
It's a piece of history. This is the only one in the world that's capable of flight at this time, and the airplane is it's a very honest airplane. It's a little bit different than some of the other stuff I've flown, but when you think about what our veterans did with these airplanes when they were new to secure our freedom and end the war, it's just awe-inspiring. And to be able to bring this to my hometown here in Northwest Arkansas and share it with my friends and family, and to help take it to other tour stops across the country and see the connection it makes with people, the veterans that come out and their kids or grandkids that get to see it for the first time. It's unbelievable. It was the most complex, complicated piece of machinery anywhere in the world. The weapons, all of the guns were remote controlled with a computer system that had different channels in it that would select which firing site would actually control which turret and prioritize targets. It was designed to be an improvement over the Boeing B-17, which was a pre-war design that was kind of the backbone of the U.S. 8th Air Force over Europe during World War II. I'm sure you've heard of the Memphis Belle and the stories that go along with that. This airplane was designed as a replacement for that aircraft.
B-29s were primarily used in the Pacific Theater during World War II. They were the aircraft whose legendary missions over Japan helped bring about the end of the war.
Yes, they were in the South Pacific, and temperatures in the mid-90s with relative humidity about the same, and there would have been 10 to 11 crew members in this airplane, I'm sure sweating, because there is no air conditioning, and they would probably sit for 30 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour while they were taxiing out. If you can imagine 500 of these taxiing out for a raid on Tokyo.
What are we seeing over here, this tunnel? That's the way to get, I guess, from the front to the back.
Exactly. There were only 3 pressurized compartments in the airplane, and this was one of the first pressurized bombers. So the front part of the airplane was pressurized, as was the midsection and the tail gun. So this particular tunnel, since the bomb bays down here are not pressurized, this was how they got from the front to the back, and it's also a part of the pressurization system. The compressed air off the engines come through this tunnel and pressurize the front, midsection, and the back. And to get from the front to the back, you crawl on your hands and knees about 30 feet.
Tell us what the old radios here and the navigation here. Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, well, here in the cockpit, we're in the aft part of it. There would have been 6 people working up here. So it looks quite roomy, but with 6 people up here and some other equipment in here, it wouldn't have been. But on aircraft right here, you see the high-frequency radios that they would have communicated with. They are original, exactly as they would have been in 1944 and 45. They have been restored for us, and they work. On aircraft left over here, this would have been the navigator's table. And imagine, with very few instruments, navigating 2,500 miles of nothing but ocean and finding the island of Japan, and then coming back and finding a dot in the Pacific Ocean where they had to land. So they were a very, very important member of the crew. The other members up here would be the flight engineer, the bombardier, the pilot, and the co-pilot. So that would have been the 6 people up here.
Now during flight, the bombardier would have sat right up here at the very front. And you talk about a bird's eye view. Wow.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be able to sit up there and look through that greenhouse, look down at the ground through the Norden bomb site that was top secret during the war when this airplane was manufactured. And just imagine what it would have been like to go into combat.
Whether it was due to battle damage or engine failure, the decision to ditch in the ocean was life or death. Many B-29 crews were never recovered due to the sheer vastness of the Pacific. The B-29 legacy, of course, will forever be known as the aircraft that dropped the world's first atomic bomb and brought World War II to a close. Let's ride the fault, the Enders Fault mountain bike trail, that is, here at Woolly Hollow State Park near Greenbrier. This trail offers rolling foothills, a hardwood forest, and of course, the natural beauty of the Ozarks. The Enders Fault mountain bike trail is made up of 2 loops, a north loop and a south loop totaling more than 9 miles. Taking off on the trail with us are 2 Arkansas State Park staff members who designed the trail, Darren Mitchell and Joe Jacobs.
The idea was to put in a trail that was usable for just about anybody. A beginner could come out here and ride and have a good time. There's 2 loops, so you can do a shorter piece if you'd like. But it's designed also so that if you're a faster rider or a more experienced rider, you can pick up speed, and it can get a little technical at faster speeds on it. So it's something for everybody is what we wanted.
What do you like about it in particular?
I like the flow. When you get up on the south loop, you're on top of the hill back behind me, and it's there's just long flowy sections where you come around big turns and stuff, and you never really feel like you're making that many turns, but you get a general downhill flow the whole time. So it's just kind of nice. It's really fun.
New innovative techniques were used in the construction of the trail.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. In the past, we've usually built trails on the fly, out in the field, you know, and whatever we ended up with was whatever we ended up with. In this case, we actually used 3D modeling, state-of-the-art software, GIS techniques, and GPS to come out here and actually develop plans and specifications for the trail so that a contractor could actually build it.
So what do you like about it personally?
I like a lot of the things that Joe likes. I like the flow. I like the differences between one side, the north loop and the south loop. The difference of the different woods that you go through. It's like there's 4 major sections to this trail that I think of. So the diversity of the nature that you pass through.
Now, the environmental concerns also, you have to pay close attention as to the water runoff and all that.
Yeah, part of our design is to keep the water from accumulating on the trail and running down the trail. After a while, you end up with a creek instead of a trail if you don't deflect that water. So a lot of the planning, a lot of the 3D modeling was to keep that water off of the trail.
The Enders Fault Mountain Bike Trail is attracting a new segment of people to Woolly Hollow State Park that may not have ever paid a visit.
We have had so much traffic on this trail, more traffic than what even we had imagined. There's so many people that live and ride mountain bikes just in Greenbrier and Conway that come out here just all the time. There's people out here when you first get up in the morning at daylight, and then there's cars in the parking lot riding when you come in at dark. The first 30 days we had the trail open, we had 445 people ride the trail.
The Enders Fault Trail does take its name from the area's active seismic fault line.
It starts at the little town of Enders, just a few miles northeast of us. It runs under the park toward the southwest. And that's where the name Enders Fault Mountain Bike Trail comes from. Several years ago, we had a series of earthquakes in the park, with the biggest one being a 4.7 earthquake in 2011. And our design on our t-shirt has the actual seismograph reading on the t-shirt.
Having a range from beginner to intermediate, this trail is perfect for a family-type outing.
You know, we always say you can come out here and ride. If there's something that you're not comfortable with, get off the bike and walk it. It's not hard to do. And then when you get past that, get back on the bike and ride some more. And the more you do that, pretty soon you'll pick up those harder spots. And you know, we've had little kids out here. We've had older people on their first rides. Just about anybody can come out here and ride.
So if you're a mountain biking enthusiast, we urge you to try out the Enders Fault Mountain Bike Trail at Woolly Hollow State Park near Greenbrier. And for more on this destination, plus many of our others, or to order a copy of an episode, visit our website at aetn.org/exploringarkansas. And don't forget to like us on our Facebook fan page. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.